It is the Vegas Take, Sharp and Shapiro. By the way, a reminder, a very exciting reminder. We're going to be expanding the show to 3 hours, 9 a.m. to noon, starting August 12th. We're very excited about that. And we'll keep reminding you, don't worry. We're also taking your calls at 257-5396. We're talking about this ignorant, racist buffoon named Nancy Goodman in North Carolina, 71 years old, who decided on video to call two African Americans the N-word because they were too loud. And then when asked about it a day later, she said she'd do it all again. She said, I have tremendous anxiety. She also went on to say she would absolutely do it again if put in the same circumstance. And, you know, I tie that into what's going on in politics today. Donald Trump's lack of leadership, these chants. It is disgusting what is going on in our society. And I want to continue on this path because it's not just racism we're talking about. It's not the only thing we're talking about here. What would you say to somebody that mimics a mentally disabled person and mocks sexual assault? Well, we've been talking about Kubrat Pulev, the story of the boxer who kisses this woman on the lips, this reporter. He lost his boxing license. He just got it reinstated. This is a serious situation for him. If he does it again, he'll probably never box again, or at least not for a very long time. So this reporter is interviewing him. And in the middle of the interview, this guy, I didn't even hear of him until a few weeks ago. They call him the Schmo. He interviews MMA fighters and boxers. He pretends as though he is mentally disabled. I don't see anything funny in that at all. So I want to play you a little this clip here. Tell me if you think if anything is funny about this.
Helen here with Eyes on the Game here at Top Rank Boxing Gym, being joined by the one and only Mr. Pulev himself. Great to see you again. Now,
hold up. This is the Schmo. Pulev, nice to see you. You look good. Helen, as usual, you look good. We're going to make sure that this is a clean interview. No kissing.
No, forgot. No chance.
Helen?
No chance. No.
He said no. Sorry.
No. Forgot.
All right, we're out.
He's trying to be funny, this guy. He's trying to make something funny out of a very serious circumstance. This guy lost his boxing license. And again, this guy, it's his shtick. You know, if you know what the word shtick is, this is his shtick. He acts like somebody who's slow. I don't see anything funny in that. I don't see anything funny in making fun of sexual assault.
Brian,
that's what Pulev did.
Do we have shticks?
I certainly wouldn't make fun of sexual assault. I certainly, hello, by the way. Thank you for joining us. How are you?
I'm doing very, very well.
I don't recall ever in my lifetime making fun of somebody that's handicapped, impersonating somebody who's mentally challenged, or making fun of sexual assault. That's what this guy, the Schmo, is doing. When I watch this video, I'm like, are you kidding me? It's disgusting. We'll take your calls, 257-5396. I bring this up because I think it ties into racism. There are people out there, they're so insensitive to what's going on in the world. You can't use the N-word in any way, shape, or form. This woman is trying to say it's okay to use the N-word. It's okay when you're angry at someone to use the N-word. She's making the excuse that she has tremendous anxiety, is what she said. Okay, she's probably headed to a Klan meeting as we speak. And then making fun of people who are mentally disabled. Making a joke out of sexual assault. Is that where our society is right now? Again, that number is 257-5396. Let's go to Mika, who's been waiting patiently on hold. Mika, how are you?
Hi, I'm pretty good. How are you?
Doing good, Mika. What's on your mind? What do you think about all this?
I just, stopped by on your radio station, and I just want to comment on some few topics. I am a Filipino immigrant, so pardon my grammar and my language, please. But I do speak English, and I'm trying to explain my thoughts about, your topic.
You're doing better than me, by the way. For the record, your English is much better than mine. I'm being serious, by the way. Please, go ahead. You might take my job. Go ahead.
But just by the leadership that the president we have right now,
yes,
I want to comment, and I don't I don't see any racism at all, on when he said she can go back if she doesn't, just do the comment that our president says that.
How about the chant?
If you don't love it,
right,
or leave it, send her back.
But that's not what he said, though, Mika. That's not what he said. He didn't say love it or leave it. That's not what he said in his tweet.
he didn't say any names in any form. I mean, I didn't say it. I didn't. As far as me, an immigrant that came here, you know, like I've seen that I wouldn't want anybody to adjust to my culture because I need to adjust to what culture that I have.
Okay, so let me ask you.
So Mika, are you kind of like me, where you believe that racism isn't necessarily applied unless there's a slur attached to it?
I mean, racism is out there. You know, it's going to be everywhere.
Let me ask you a question, Mika. What about the chant? The chant, send her back. You think if she was a white person, that chant would have happened?
I think that statement, like if he's talking about to a white person, it wouldn't be on air at all, on media. Nobody would even talk about it.
Well, I'm asking you a question, though.
And that's a decent point.
But I'm asking you a question, though. Do you think if it was a white person, Donald Trump would have said that? Because he said it on Twitter, Mika. With all due respect, I disagree with you. Everything he says on Twitter is reported. I look at his tweets all day, okay?
Right.
So if he said, I've never heard him tell a white person to go back to their country. I've never heard somebody in my lifetime tell a white person, forget about the president, go back to your country, because number one, it wouldn't make any sense. 3 of these 4 women were born in the United States of America. Now, let me ask you a question, Mika. Have you ever criticized, let's just say the Obama administration or any administration? Do you have a problem with any policies in America? Anything political? Do you disagree with anything America's doing?
Well, I mean, it wasn't on the media. Okay, so when Obama was our president,
Yes.
the racism, they don't put that on
Mika.
the media. Right now, there's only 2 colors, a black and brown, all over the media.
Okay,
You know,
first of all, that's not true.
only put-
Mika, I'm trying to get you to answer my question. Let's try to focus here. Okay, first of all, I'm not black or brown. I'm whiter than white. That's number one. Number two, do you have a problem with any policy in this country? Have you criticized Barack Obama for any policy?
Yes.
Okay, so if I told you to...
think
Okay,
he-
hold on.
he has-
I'll let you respond. Now, if I told you, go back to your country, you must hate the country because you dislike some of Obama's policies, would you be okay with that?
Well, if I'm doing something that I'm not following the rules or the laws,
That's
and the
not what I
president
asked
tell
you.
me,
Mika.
go back to your country.
Mika, that's
then-
not what I'm asking. Listen to me for a second, Mika. You seem like a very smart woman. Hear me out here, okay? You just said you've criticized some of Obama's policies. At least three of those 4 women. I don't agree with Omar, but 3 of those 4 women, that's all they've done. They've disagreed with Donald Trump's policies, and they've gone after him for policy. Now, Trump said, go back to your country. And what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to make a perfect example, and I think I'm making a very good analogy. You just said on this show, as a woman from the Philippines, and I love the Filipino people, you just said that you've had a problem with some of Barack Obama's policies. So if somebody that was an Obama supporter said to you, you must hate our country, go back to your country, I know you would have a problem with that. It is the exact same thing.
Oh, no, not at all.
How?
If you don't agree with it, and then somebody told me, you know what, if you don't like it, go back. I would oh, absolutely. I wouldn't even want to go on this twisted, what's going on, like in the government.
But what you just said, and I respect the call, Mika. I was trying to make the analogy. I don't know if you understand where I'm getting at here. You have a problem. Hold on. You have a problem with Obama's policies. Cortez, at least 3 of those 4 women have a problem with Trump's policies. What's the difference, JD? What's the difference?
What's the difference between calling, or when we have a caller that calls us losers and tells us that our show is terrible, but they still listen to our show? If you're in the United States, or if you're in a country and you hate it, why are you there in the first place? That's kind of the same. That's the same logic.
I agree, but do you understand?
I get it.
So do you disagree with what I just said, the analogy I tried to make? She has a problem with some of Obama's policies. JD, I would never tell her she hates the country. I would never tell her to go back to her country.
Well, it's issue-based. It needs to come down to issues as opposed to an all-encompassing assumed hatred.
But it shouldn't matter what the issue is. If you're going after a policy, that doesn't mean you hate the country. That's the point I was trying to make. Let's go to Marge. Marge, what's going on?
Well, first of all, I think your southern accent you should use as one of your...
Hold on, Marge. I have tremendous anxiety. My name is Nancy Goodman. I'm 71 years old from North Carolina. These black people, they give me tremendous anxiety, so I think it's okay to call them the N-word, and I do it again. I'm sorry.
Yes.
Go ahead, Marge. I'm sorry.
You're pitch perfect, but I would use it as promo for your new show that starts on August 12th in time.
I might do that,
It
Marge.
would get
Thank
attention,
you.
you know?
Thank you, Marge. I appreciate it. We might do that. Go ahead. What's on your mind?
Well, one of the things. I mean, this whole thing, you know, and you brought up the person who is disabled or whatever.
Correct. Yes.
Because I remember Trump making fun of someone also.
Yes, he
who was
did.
disabled.
Yes,
okay?
he did. You are right.
This is example. This is leadership. And I think Michael yesterday talked about he had hoped that when Trump, you know, ascended the presidency, that he would be very diplomatic and
Yeah.
the executive type, et cetera. You know, I had hoped the same thing myself personally.
Yeah, we were wrong.
But that's not what we're getting. obviously.
Definitely not. I agree.
Yeah, and I think that you know he like for this past week until this whole Mueller thing came up yesterday.
Yeah.
He was grinding it into the sand. Now he's after Mueller.
Yeah.
So we've now changed topic again. You know.
He loves Marge. Isn't it interesting? It just seems like he loves to do that. Marge, I got to get to some other callers. It's always great to hear from you. I appreciate it. Thank you, Marge. 257-5396. Jeff, you're next. What's going on?
Yeah, Brian, I'd just like to set you straight on this whole, send her back thing.
Okay.
As most of the liberal media.
I'm not the liberal media. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
Okay. Well, not whatever. Not a liberal. Go ahead.
The reason Trump. Okay, you're a conservative. It's obvious.
No, I'm something called an independent thinker. I know that's hard for you to understand because you just want to label people to start a conversation. I am an independent. Okay. I go after. No, it's not. No, it's not okay. I go after Republicans. I go after. I'll let you talk, but I go after Republicans and Democrats, my friend. So don't you dare try to label me.
Let me make my original point.
Yeah,
okay?
please do without labeling me a liberal. I don't care what the liberal media does.
All right. So the reason why Trump said that they could go back and why everybody understands that for what it is and why your prior caller before Marge understood that it wasn't racist is because the reason he told her to go back is because people are sick of people like these four freshman congresswomen who display open animus to the United States and to the flag and to what we stand for. They denigrate the military. They denigrate.
Okay, so let's start with Ocasio-Cortez. No. But you just said something that I don't agree with. What has Ocasio-Cortez said that denigrates the media? What does Ocasio-Cortez does that denigrates the United States of America?
Go by it through it point by point. But if you're going to be intellectually honest, Brian,
I'm always.
Understand that this is what they do.
So give me a specific example. Give me other than Omar, which I have been intellectually honest with, by the way. If you listen to the show.
I'm not here to give you like point.
If you're you know what? Too bad. Okay, then I'm not going to listen to you. Then if you're going to make a blatant statement that I don't agree with, then I'm not going to listen to you. Okay.
Yeah, it's not that they're.
Those women don't denigrate the flag. What the hell are you talking about? You're making stuff up out of your ass.
Listen, no, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Give me a specific example right now.
Brian.
Jeff, give me a specific example right now. Give me one specific example of them denigrating the flag.
Let me make one more point, and then I'll give you a specific.
You can't give me one. No, give me an example now. We got other callers. This is the fifth time I've asked you.
If these women were from Europe and white and did the same things, I'd say send them back too.
Give me one example of Donald Trump telling a white person to go back to their country.
Well, has he ever told anybody to go back except these four?
Give me one example of one white person that he's ever said go back to your country.
You give me one example.
And well, because there is none. Give me one example of Ocasio-Cortez denigrating the flag. Give me one example of Ocasio-Cortez going after our military, denigrating the military. Give me one example. Give me one.
I'm not saying they step on it, but they're just their general.
Okay. Goodbye, Jeff. Goodbye. I asked you 8 times in that phone call. We're going to go to another Jeff. Jeff, what's going on?
Hey, what's going on? Can you hear me?
Yes,
hey,
sir.
Jeff, what's
go
up?
ahead.
Hey, first of all, I love your guys' show. I think you guys are awesome. Number one thing I like about you guys is that you guys at least take the time to put both sides of the coin of opinion, on your show. You know what I mean?
I appreciate that, Jeff. I got to tell you, that last Jeff is making your name look bad because he said I was not intellectually. He said I was not intellectually honest. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Listen. I agree with like a lot of you guys. What a lot of you guys say. So the big thing about the N-word, okay? It's like, what's the big difference? Like, I'm from the Bay Area, San Francisco. I lived out in Vegas for about 9 years now.
Yep.
I got like not only other black friends, Mexican friends. They use that word in the slang term all the time.
Which I disagree with, by the way, Jeff, and that's a very valid point. I don't think it should be used anywhere.
Okay, good point. Good point.
And it's isolated when it is used.
Like a lot of people, I'm really like a lot of hip hop, Bay Area, and I know it's not just Bay Area. It's just like a.
Neither do I. I liked hip hop in the '90s. Dr. Dre, Tupac, Biggie.
And they use that word like it's no big thing.
Which I disagree with. Which I disagree.
If a white person says it, it's like it's racist.
Well, Jeff, that's a valid point that you bring up, and I got to get to some other callers. Let me respond to that if I may, and I appreciate the call. Let me be very clear on this. I don't think the N-word should be used in any way, shape, or form by anybody. But I think when two African Americans are using it to one another, they would tell you that they're using it. It's kind of a friendship slang, I guess you could say. I don't agree with it, but it is a far different ballgame. When a white person says it to an African American, it is a far different circumstance.
And the word used isn't the exact word. It's typically a derivation of the word.
Right. Exactly. Good point. I think that we need to make. But listen, with that being said,
which is extremely important.
But with that being said,
I don't think that
yeah,
African Americans would call each other by that word in a friendship type of a setting. Under any circumstance.
I tend to agree with you on that. But he brings up a valid point,
of course he does.
And I appreciate the call. Let's go to Brian. Brian, what's going on?
Hey, how you doing?
Good. What's up?
No, I'm a kind of a half listener here. I know my wife listens to you more than me, but I was listening.
Tell her I said thank you so much. Shame on you, Brian.
I know, right? Shame on me for not listening to what I.
That's quite all right. We're glad you're listening, Brian. What's on your mind?
I just want to make I don't want to obviously get into a massive argument, but I'm a huge Trump supporter, and I guess
which is okay.
I want to weigh in on a couple comments that were made, and so look. Obviously, why does everything have to be racist?
Everything doesn't have to be. Everything doesn't have to be racist. But when I see something that I believe is racist, I'm going to call it out.
Right. I respect that. I just when you say name a white person, to me that is almost. That to me I take as a racist, not saying that you're saying.
I'm asking a very simple question, and listen, there's a reason why I asked that question.
But there also hasn't been any white or Caucasian or whatever word you want to use that have done or that have said the things that Ocasio-Cortez has done or Omar, et cetera, et cetera. Because why would they?
The whole reason why Trump is pushing what he's saying is, listen, we are Americans together. We are, no matter what race we are. If somebody wants to blanket, that'd be like saying that every black person likes a certain thing. That's a blanket statement.
Right.
For him to just say, well, if you want to be American, you have to be white. That's not what he's saying. He's saying if you don't like America, then you can leave. And if the one Kylie or
it's the same.
The mother effer, or if Ocasio-Cortez can say that. That the illegal immigrants are better than the people that are.
She never said that.
Immigration. I mean,
she never said that.
Those type of things I believe are racist, and nobody's making comments. And at least I'm not saying that you're not, but if you look at the general, and I guess the general idea of what they're trying to portray, nobody's sticking up for Trump hardly at all. And everything becomes a racist comment, and that's where
everything is not a racist comment. With all due respect, Brian, I appreciate the phone call, but what I will add to that is these four women are women of color, and the reason why I bring up the white subject here, I've never heard Donald Trump tell a white person to go back to their country. Now, we're up against a hard break, so we're going to have to take these calls on the other side of the break, but it is very, very simple. It's a very simple conversation. Would he have said this to four white women? And we will take that on the other side of the break. We got to take a break, and we will be back. John Brookhagen's going to be coming in studio. Also, coming up at the bottom of the next hour, TMZ's Mike Babcock, another boxer dying in the ring. Just a horrendous story. We'll get to that. We'll take more of your phone calls on the other side. You're listening to The Vegas Take.